very serious problem. America has a very serious problem. Not only does America have a very serious problem, but our people have a very serious problem. America's problem is us. This problem is us. We're her problem. The only reason she has a problem is she doesn't want us here. And every time you look at yourself, be you black, brown, red, or yellow, a so-called Negro, you represent a person who poses such a serious problem for America because you're not one. You're not one. Because you're not one. One. Once you face this as a fact, then you can start plotting a course that will make you appear intelligent instead of unintelligent. What you and I need to do is learn to forget our differences. When we come together, we don't come together as Baptists or Methodists. You don't catch hell because you're a Baptist. And you don't catch hell because you're a Methodist. You don't catch hell because you're a Methodist or a Baptist. You don't catch hell because you're a Democrat or a Republican. You don't catch hell because you're a Mason or an elf. And you sure don't catch hell because you're an American, but if you was an American, you wouldn't catch no hell. You catch hell because you're a black man. You catch hell, all of us catch hell for the same reason.
So one of the things I think is important to note is that as much as this is a poetry reading, and I'm supposed to talk about a book that's coming out and how that book informs the world and how it came to be, you should know that the book is about healing. And it's not a look back, it's a looking at what's happening now. Earlier, when I got here, I was thinking about the work it takes to read trauma, to re-experience it. What Dr. Trix calls out as the enactment, that psychoanalysis term that puts you and me, the listener, and the reader and the reader in conversation with one another in such a way that we inform. I am because you are. And that kind of family is a lot to talk with, to work with. So as I am reading these words, these poems, I want you to be aware that I'm not necessarily attempting to create a great performance, but I got to get to the other side of this thing, and I appreciate you being inside of it with me, but that's just baseline. I just want you to know, okay? So that we're all on the same page. Don't exoticize me. Don't put me on no rock to be surveyed. Come with me. Because we're going to talk about racial justice, and we're going to talk about racial justice, and the performance of allyship will not be tolerated. So be with me. Be with me. Because we're in it together anyway. Enter people who do their job. Enter doing it for the money attitudes. Thanksgiving to everyone. Enter your own God. Enter time passing. Into rhythms. enter her language can be rhythm, right? We believe it deserves multiple readings, and we can't wait for you to experience it as we do.
We want to have just enough of
God is saying that those who continue to make it clear that anyone who opposes the war in Vietnam is always in our favor in any of our affairs.
I know. It's not possible. It's America. You in the way. Dr. Let's talk about it before you got here. We in the way.
what you and I need to do is at the heart of our concern, this world will help us move the large and loud. Why are we speaking about the war, Dr. James? Why are you going the war to the campus? Peace and civil rights don't mix, they say. You take that back? So this morning I see you on the video. So I understand. We want to have just an off-the-cuff chat between you and me. Us. We want to talk right down to earth in ways that everybody here can easily understand. We all agree tonight, all of the speakers have agreed that America has a very serious problem. Not only does America have a very serious problem, but our people have a very serious problem. America's problem is us. We're her problem. The only reason she has a problem is she doesn't want us here. And every time you look at yourself, be you black, brown, red, or yellow, or so-called Negro, you represent a person who poses such a serious problem for America because you're not wrong. Once you face this as a fact, then you can start plotting a course that will make you appear intelligent instead of unintelligent.
What might it mean that we're all in this together?
It might not change how we act. Right away.
Because we're supposed to be in this together, right? Like the Constitution, the rules say we're supposed to be like reaching for something, like a sculpture. Yeah, reaching for something. So if it won't make a difference, then do we? What's the point? It's too much work. It's too much work. I'm sweating. It's like the work of justice, child. Yeah. A tight scene. You know, getting dirty. How did you get here?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
started days ago.
Yeah.
Years ago. More than 4 years ago. But then this started days ago.
Uh-huh.
Because we were sitting stopped at the train. We were talking about that already knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was coming.
Correct.
So it had known for a long time
What it was gonna do.
what it was going to do.
Right.
And so that happened. And then, yeah.
Yeah. How'd you get here? How'd you get here? Go and then you walk. I've done that too. How'd you get here?
I saw you at the train.
Go and walk or this? How y'all get here?
Lots of traffic.
Lots of traffic?
Yeah.
Mm.
Great traffic.
Mm. Lots of slave boats. Lots of ships. Lots of people going to work, coming from
I
work.
don't know what they.
It was rush hour, no?
Huh?
Was it rush hour traffic?
It shouldn't have been. I think it was an accident somewhere.
An accident, a collision,
Yeah.
involving personalities and people.
Yeah.
It's in the manuscript. Y'all gotta get y'all out here. Can I I'm gonna read the preface. This is an epigraph from Frank X. Walker. The book is called Turn Me Loose, The Unghosting of Medgar Evers. Poem. Much of Mississippi's in the South's past is characterized by resistance to white supremacy in the face of overt and subtle racism that resulted in multiple crimes. These include crimes against the body, against property, the collusion of public and private institutions in preventing access and opportunity to all people, and conspiracies of silence that continue today. Much of Mississippi's in the South's past is characterized by increased resistance to white supremacy in the face of overt and subtle racism that resulted in multiple crimes. These include crimes against the body, crimes against property, the collusion of public and private institutions in preventing access and opportunity to all people, and conspiracies of silence that continue today.
The state wanted to come was colonizing our people in South Africa.
Mandating a home piece that intentionally intersects our mind with the entirety of the bones and muscles of our body. As a practice of intersecting movement with every word rendering.
He was pressed by the white man.
Burning the cups of the pulpit.
Every word.
That they were hard to live on the same doctrines of power. I could not be found. In the face of such
Practice, reflection, healing action, reflection, healing action, reflection, healing action, reflection, healing action.
I could not be stopped. Stop. Could not be stopped. And the faith is yeah.
What might mean that we're all in this together? What might mean that we're all in this together? Interfloring. Intergrade marker right PRICES on a sign. Intersmell of popping corn. CBB out of line. Lazy Susan chair enters casting a shadow. Enter another BB box to place the already entered BB box container inside. Cover for the chair enter. Enter large bags of animal food. Enter paper. Enter large bugs that slide. Enter more shelving. Advertisements enter. Stop. More. Enter. Names. Police. Guns. Enter. The color white. Enter sunlight. Enter the color red. Glass doors. Enter merchandise things. Walls enter. Enter place. Enter history. Grave marker right. UNBEATABLEL on a sign. Anybody else want to enter anything? You want to enter something? Enter something? Enter something? Enter something? What do you mean? No? You have the agency. You got a mic. What might it mean for all of this together? When's the last time you had a mic? Who gave you the mic? You use it? Are you complaining about not using it? Are you complaining because those of us who did use it?
I knew that I could never again raise my voice against the violence of the oppressed and the ghettos without having first been clear.
What's a typeset? Pattern. Pattern? A pattern. Because there's something about it we recognize. Even if that's difference, right? Even if that, yeah, if that's difference. I think you're right. I think. Move its opposite. Wield, W-E-I-L-D. Wield, its opposite. If
That's what America means.
if the opposite. If
Claude Ave in Montgomery.
and
The
opposite.
They applauded us in the city. Non-violent citizens in the they applauded us on the
It's opposite.
except the blow.
It's opposite.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Selma, Alabama. Oh, because it's so noble in its cause. So noble in its praise that I was saying, be non-violent toward those.
We about to talk about.
Non-violent toward those.
We even
come. When I was saying be nonviolent toward Bull come. When I was saying be nonviolent toward Jim Crow. There's something strangely inconsistent about a nation and a press that will praise you when you say be nonviolent toward Jim Clark, but will curse and damn you when you say be nonviolent toward little brown Vietnamese children. There's something wrong with that press.
The inconsistent consistency. True. Why?
As is the way to such a commitment
Representation.
and health of America was not enough. Another burden of responsibility was placed
The
upon
burden
me.
of responsibility.
1964. I cannot forget that the Nobel Peace Prize was not just something taking place.
So one of the things I think is so interesting about this conversation is, so I'm brown, obviously, and literally can name, but if I'm oppressed, I'm not the only person in the system that's enslaved. The oppressor is as well. Who's their master? I'm just asking the question. But it's not realistic, I think, that only one of us is a part of it. Like, we all in it together. So I asked, like, to like get underneath, like, what might it mean that we're all in this together? What might that mean? We're all gonna die together.
Brown Vietnamese children.
Yeah. So I wonder, right? I'm gonna take a second.
Interested in movement. We nonviolent, they decided to sit in at lunchtime. They applauded us on the freedom ride.
Can I have wine?
Except the souls
I'm
of
all right.
retaliation. They praised us in all minutes.
You stand to keep that problem?
Selma, Alabama.
The historic methods
All the press.
used all over the world by others who have problems similar to yours. Once you see how they got theirs straight, then you know how you can get yours straight. See, there's been a revolution, a black revolution going on now. In Cuba, the Mau Mau were revolutionaries. They were the ones who gave the word a hero. They were the ones who brought it to the fore. The Mau Mau, they were revolutionaries. They believed in scorched earth. Scorched earth. Besides, they got everything. And their revolution also was based on them. What is ours today? In Algeria, how they found it, a revolution took place. The Algerians were revolution. They wanted land. France offered to let them be integrated into the country. They told France to hell with France. They wanted some land, not some France. And they engaged in a bloody battle. So I cite these various revolutions to show you. You don't have a peaceful revolution. You don't have a turn the other cheek revolution. There's no such thing as a non-violent revolution. Only kind of revolution that's non-violent is the Negro revolution. The only revolution based on loving your enemy There's been Negro revolution. Desegregated pop, desegregated public pop. You can sit down next to white folks on the corner.
Do y'all have a book? Y'all have a Bible? You shake your head no? Can you enter something you see? What do you see? What do you see? Enter something. What do you see? Heart. Enter heart. Enter mind. Enter green. Enter more green. Enter brown. Enter renewal. Anything else? Anyone else? Say again. Tree. Enter trees. Enter trees. Anything else? Anyone else? Enter struggles. Enter struggles. Exit pain. Exit bullshit. Enter real support. Enter people who say and do the thing that they say they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Enter new energy.
Yeah.
Welcome. It's not a performance so much as it is a conversation. The text, I mean. The text. It's you and the black mind. That's what you're getting a peek into. Into a psychological place, space, environment, ecosystem.
I started watching the American version of television shows office with all of the red black kids.
This is major.
I agree.
No, this is major. This is major. Enter mom. Enter one of mom's kids. Enter a grocery store. Enter repercussions of being born into a system. Exit an edge. 35 whatsoever's enter inhaling. Enter time. Enter inheritance. Enter or else. Enter needing socks, soap, and toothpaste. Enter fantastic. Into the smell of rotting fish.
No, my first name ain't Luke. It's Shannon. It's not.
Into more frozen food items.
It's Oprah. It's Oprah.
Into fresh pink meat. Into clock. Into fighting the same war on another front. Into transatlantic slavery with trademark money. Into I shit you not language. Into for real language. Into who you with language. Into who with me language. Into the results of living nightmares woke up. I'm going to read a little bit. I talked earlier about the author me. I want to read this section.
Revolution knows no compromise. Revolution overturns. Revolution overturns and destroys.
About the author can be discerned by analysis of their experimentation and the products they devise. For example, in much the same way Langston Hughes explores aspects of Black life and socialization education and mother to son, writing my life ain't been no crystal stare. Perhaps it is because this author has been tagged 2 for 1, a nigger and a faggot, that I compose for my own social circumstance, my career and the tumultuous time that I live. Primarily, this author's scholarship is community-engaged learning through art. The about of this author is the plurality of these relationships, but if it's about being close, it's also about being inside, about Can we pause, please?
I want to talk about the poet and the poems without using this word. I don't want to ruin the surprise. Also, this word belongs to the poet now. Of all the things on this list that follow, from gravestone inscriptions to chair covers to big black bicks, to footstep sounds to the blood of Jesus, this is the one thing the poet allows as a such possession. To my mind, the poet earned it. It belongs in the poet's mouth now. I dare not utter it here.
So that is one challenge I set for myself. I shall discuss the word, but shall not speak the word. The other challenge I set is to identify the enactment.
This is a special word in contemporary psychoanalysis. It means that, try as they might, the analyst and patient cannot help but recreate, repeat, enact the patient's trauma in the process of the therapy itself. The enactment may arrive subtly or explode. The enactment may caress and tickle or peel off faces. The enactment may hide in the room like a cobweb for years and never be noticed, or it may rise up from the floor, a chain-clinking ghost to scare everyone shitless. The enactment is like the negative opposite of safety lights on a vehicle. The enactment is built to make sure everyone crashes. The enactment welds shut the hatch on the space capsule. There is no escape.
When you learn the poet's special word, you will quickly see, I think, that you have been ushered in to recreate, repeat, enact. And if you do, which you must do, no escape, remember, you will then do that thing that everything and everyone in the poem have done to the poet. Enact the word, and then you will join the poet's list, which includes everything already, and everything flowing in one direction. Now you too, you will become aware of your always already presence on the poet's list. Only now you are swept up, flowing in that one direction. You will blank the poet.
No, you can't avoid it. Merely by arriving and venturing in, you will be doing it. Doing it to the poet. No, I'm sorry. Even you should determine to be very careful, to tread lightly, to be humble, to only listen, to mind your P's and Q's, to pay your respects, and you will. And so become a line item in a poet's eternal account. For what the poet has created here is indeed that entire, that complete. The singularity of the poet's commitment to the word sends to faith.
Now let me explain what I mean by the singularity of the poet's commitment to the word, even while still trying not to use the word. Again, the surprise of the word is important. I don't want to spoil its entrance, and this is the poet's word now. Remember, to the extent that I realize I am deep in an abomination zone, just by touching it in this way, the enactment is full on right now.
And you're watching me do it. I am the poet. But that being said, to say that the poet's use of the word creates a persistent theme would be a gross understatement. To say that it casts a spell, gets closer. To say that the poet wields the word like a black hole wields gravity, that we might have it. So hearken, reader.
Get ready to enter a universe collapsing on an atomic point, where the compass has only one heading, the gravity well infinitely deep. The piano falls through space, crashes down, and plays only the one chord, the incredible chord. 88 keys, but only one chord. Thus, singularity, just like the word.
Everything is coming in, no choice, beyond porous, because there is no saturation limit. Beyond open, because there is no lid. I imagine it was torn off. Beyond receptive, beyond penetration, beyond rupture, because there are no edges to the orifice. Not a wish to contain all, but an actual containing of all. For example, the poet's will to manifest this singularity is so strong, the word can contain both matter and antimatter, doubt and faithfulness, lack and gain, empathy and critical judgment.
And we watch the growing horror as the word calls into being things that should exist, or at least come resplendent in pain. Blink your own child. Open someone else's mouth. Like the thought, meet our egos, that meet our egos.
How could anyone have learned to do such a thing and do it so well? Command a word in this manner, to this degree. I think we know the answer, but as soon as we venture to say, to add our understanding, interpretation, reaction, this also becomes part of the poet's list, part of the poet's trauma. And our presence re-traumatizes. To realize this may feel like the end of the world, but it is actually only the beginning of the power of these poems, just as the enactment is always the beginning of therapy. And because of the poet's commitment, non-defensiveness, complete openness to the process, the monodialogic of trauma, and the unidirectionality of the word are eventually spun up and melted down into a surprising new substance, unexpected here in the poet's singularity, a pluralism. I need it one more time, because to realize this may feel like the end of the world, right? He can't talk to you because it's gonna just traumatize the fuck out of him. You know what I mean? We don't touch it because it's just too hot. It may feel like the end of the world, but it's actually only the beginning of the power of these poems. Just as the enactment is always the beginning of therapy, right? We're in it together. You're feeling what I'm feeling what you're feeling, and from there, that's where the conversation happens. And because of the poet's commitment non-defensiveness, complete openness to the process, the monodialogic of trauma, and the unidirectionality of the word are eventually spun up and melted down into a surprising new substance. Unexpected here in the poet's singularity of pluralism, a book of many, many things based off of this one experience, or this one kind of experience. The poet's singularity, a pluralism, a type scene.
At this peak of agency, trauma becomes learning. The uninvited are welcome. The unidirectionality loops around itself. So a pluralism made of the singularity of trauma, which is a miracle broad enough to include our enactment, our land, and maybe even forgive us in advance, thus inviting us to rise to the poet's occasion.
I hesitate to add, and forgive ourselves. There isn't a happy ending like that here. I believe in the process described above, healing derived from a commitment to self-disclosure and openness, so that the singularity of trauma becomes a pluralistic or multidimensional experience, replete with pain, but also learning. But this is no panacea. In real life, it only works sometimes, and then only for some time. And no one is ever free from recrimination, including the poet, who also us.
Indeed, there is an incredible alchemy of goodwill to power at work here, where shit turns into gold. But gold in an honest system is still pretty shitty. From the poet, we get self-overcoming on a massive scale, but we also get the torture chamber in which the training for mastery took place. Unforgettable, even if everyone moves on to a more comfortable place. This is no catabasis, far from it, but this is also no Christmas Eve. There's a more foddy here, but also a plain-spoken certainty that none of these things should ever have happened.
All in all, the poet remains committed to the word and perhaps thus masters the trauma again with each reader that comes along. Yet I believe the poet somehow still reserves the space to tell us how to fuck off if we're not getting it right. That is how far the poet has come with a word. The poet can also wield its opposite.
One of the things that Shannon and I talked about, what's wielding its opposite, and the DJ is spinning history, archives, primary source narratives, right? And if you're on side A, I'm saying wield its opposite. The special word and its opposite. Y'all get it, right? Y'all with me? Okay. Wield its opposite. Let's go to the next. Right? Who did we hear today? Did we hear who did we hear in the sound school? Could anyone pick it up?
It was Malcolm X and Dr. King. Right?
Yeah, so how might we talk about those two as being opposites, right? Opposites in terms of philosophical thought as black men in America at the same time. But the same but different, right? Both assassinated. What we didn't get to because the rain was like, nah, was JFK, right? Yeah, because that's another voice that's coming in around the same time, right? That informs this. Thank you. Thank you for coming.